Does that ever happen to you? That someone tell you so, someone did something to you, but most particularly tell you something, and then you feel bad about what the person told you. Have you ever had a situation like that? If you had, in any case, in a situation like that, I am going to show you today in this video why does this happen and how you can solve it. But for you to solve it, you must understand what. So why does this thing happen? That anyone why does that if a person talk to you a certain way, if a person tell you something about yourself, about your life, physically, socially, or emotionally, you feel bad, you feel drained, you feel depressed. So let's understand that. For us to understand that, we must, let's see if I can use this today. Yeah, I may use this marker. We must, as always, divide the brain like we always do. Okay? So let's say the mind. So we always divide the mind. Okay? So we're going to do that today. We always have the conscious mind. We always have the subconscious mind. All right? So in our videos, we always say that the conscious mind is reduced to what we know, and the subconscious mind is reduced to what we are. Okay? So we always say that in our videos. And for you to understand what I'm going to show you throughout this video, you must understand this base. Okay? I'm going to go very slow for you to understand and implement this knowledge in your life. Okay. So we said the conscious mind is what you know, okay? And the subconscious mind is what you are. Okay? Now, whenever situation happen, okay, we call this thing external factors. External factors. Okay? We always say that an external factor is something that you don't primarily have no control over. No control over. Okay? So an external factor can be anything from an event that is created by nature, like a natural event, or uh, other people action, okay, other people behavior that you're gonna have to deal with. Okay, we call these external factors because you don't have control over them. Okay, they're out of your control. Now we said that whenever we are reacting to an external factor, we don't do that based on what we know. We do that based on who we are. So we do that based on the content we have on our subconscious mind. Let's go. Okay? So we do that based on the content we have on the subconscious mind. So most of the time, when you see yourself behaving a certain way, when you see yourself acting a certain way towards an external factor, you don't do that based on the knowledge you get. That's the reason people can read a lot of books. People can go to seminars. People can buy courses, watch videos on YouTube. But they can't implement the knowledge they have. They can't implement the insights they have in their life. Why? Because the knowledge you got is here in your subconscious, on your conscious mind, my apologies. But on the subconscious mind, this is where all the content that you have is located. Okay? And whenever you are reacting to an external factor, you do that based on the content you have in the subconscious mind. And by explaining that, let me also let you know that because I know a lot of people, they understand or they believe that external factor or the factor that determines their life. Okay? And let me tell you that that's not true, because if that were true, any person, any group of people experiencing the same external factor will have the same life, therefore will have the same future. Okay? On a previous video we made, we say that, for example, let's say that we have a group of people that used to go to the gym normally every day, and one day it's raining. So if that's what's true, that external factor or the one that determine your life, your future, all these people that were experiencing this external factor in that particular example, which is the rain, will stop going to the gym immediately and altogether. But you and I know this is not the case because all these people, they'll interpret this external factor a certain way. And based on the interpretation they gave to the external factor, they'll understand, they'll see the external factor a certain way. And this is what is called mindset. Okay? Mindset is where the way you're focusing your mind. Okay? Because one of them will see this external factor different way, therefore they'll feel different way. Okay? And therefore they'll behave different. That's the reason each one of them will react a certain way to the external factor. So that's the reason we say that external factor do not determine your life and do not determine your future because you don't have control. Okay? So let's go back to it. We said that any external factor will react to it based on the content we have on the subconscious part. Okay? Where do I want to go with that? I want to go to make you understand that anytime that a person talks to you, anytime you are experiencing something from a conversation you have with a friend, with a family member, with your boss, anytime that you are experiencing what you called a bad experience of life, this is your interpretation of the situation, and this interpretation is based on the content you have on your subconscious part. Okay? Because the problem is always internal. Why do I say that? Because the internal always produces the external. And therefore, the external is always a reflection of the inner. Okay? They always start from within, from the mind, which is the causal plane. Okay, so all the situation that you get mad, you get depressed, you get anxious about a conversation you had with someone, with your friend, your boss, your family member, stranger that you found on the street, all the situation that you find yourself depressed, powerless, it's all depends on the content that you have on the subconscious. But there's a key specific point on your subconscious mind that determines that. Okay, and I'm going to go with you to that in a minute, so you can understand what is a specific factor that determines how you the specific factor that you have on your subconscious mind that determines how you react to the external factors. Okay, so let's get through that. So if you want to understand that, pay very very attention to what I'm going to show you because it's very important for you. It's part of the basic stuff you have to know and understand so you can solve this problem. And so your life can be better. Your experience of life can be better. So let's go to the next step here. Let's go to the next step here. Okay. So let's go back to the subconscious mind. When I redesign the same thing we did. So we had here. You said the conscious mind, the subconscious. So on the subconscious mind, there are a lot of content. Okay? There are a lot of content in the subconscious mind. But the primary thing that you have on your subconscious mind that determines the way that you behave, the way that you act towards the experience, external experience that you have, is what we call the belief. Okay? So there are a lot of beliefs on your subconscious mind which primarily build your reaction, your behaviors to the world. And this group of belief, we call it the web of belief. Okay? And some people call this web of belief, this group of belief, a paradigm. Okay, paradigm. So people like Bartram, the great guy, he called it the paradigm. Okay, which is a group of belief. Now, on this group of belief, there are what we call core belief. Okay, and we talk about it on a course. So if you're interested, the link is always along on the description. But the core belief, they are the one that you identify yourself. Okay, so they are the one that you believe so deeply that you identify yourself. Okay, we also explain that on the course, like we said, but this is not our primary goal for today. So we have four belief, which build your identity. Now, how does a belief is formed? A belief, we always say, it's an idea that you've got from yourself or out of yourself. Okay, so from another person, from a book that you've been reading, from a person that you've been hearing. Okay, so you get the idea outside of yourself. Okay, and this idea, you've been nurturing it, you've been processing it over and over and over, all that frequently. So you've been processing it frequently. And since you're doing that, what you do is you attach over time an emotional connection to this idea. So you attach an emotional connection to the idea. Okay? So at the end, what you do is you accept this idea as a truth for yourself. Okay? Now, we say that we have core belief, which are ideas that you get primarily on your childhood, where you've been submitted to a lot of ideas, to a lot of assumption that you, without questioning, because at this time from 1 to 7, you don't have this conscious strength for you to analyze an idea. So any idea that you've been hearing, observing, or I should say reading to over and over, you attach a certain emotional connection to it, and it goes here in the subconscious mind. And additionally, we also know that if you don't have any assumption, any idea about a particular subject, the first idea that comes to you, you don't even analyze it because it goes straight to your subconscious mind. Okay, because that is the first piece of information that you get. This is the reason most of the ideas converted into belief that you had from your childhood in your adulthood. What you're trying to do is you're trying to confirm, you're trying to hold this belief. Okay, because they are part of who you are. Okay, so this core belief, what we try to do on our adulthood is trying to confirm and explain to ourselves better this core belief so we can stay with them. That's the reason we build over time what's called the secondary belief. We have a video about that. We said that the secondary belief is a belief that confirm or explain better a core belief that you got from your childhood. A core belief that build your identity. So a secondary belief is a belief that confirm and or explain better this core belief that you have. Okay, so this is just for you to understand belief. How is it formed and how does the process? So we have the belief here in our subconscious mind. So how does the belief affect the way that we behave, we act?